I think it's really important today for environmental activists to look for solutions. In the past, we were mostly against things, trying to stop the worst destruction of the environment. But today, many of these issues have been resolved. The air is cleaner, the water is cleaner. Still, there is work to do, but we should now focus on solutions for sustainability for the future. Nuclear energy is one of the most important technologies to reduce our use of fossil fuel, to stop air pollution, and to prevent more greenhouse gas going in the atmosphere. It is very clear that nuclear energy is now growing around the world. There are more than 50 nuclear plants under construction today, 20 in China alone, which is leading the way in this new technology. And I believe that the nuclear renaissance, as it is being called, will be adopted by more and more countries as they realize that nuclear energy is superior to fossil fuels for producing large continuous electricity supply. Obama's decision to publicly support nuclear energy is the most important thing that has happened for the technology in the last 30 years. We should not underestimate how important this is in the United States in particular, but also a message to the rest of the world that you don't have to be a conservative or on the right side of politics to be in favor of nuclear energy. That nuclear energy is important also from an environmental point of view, and therefore environmentalists and people who are left of center should also embrace this technology, because it is perhaps the biggest achievement of the human beings in technology in history. It is almost like a miracle which you can take a rock from the earth and make it into a fuel which will last for so long into the future. We have enough nuclear energy for thousands of years, and it is clean burning, does not put all the air pollution up like fossil fuels, and has very little greenhouse gas associated with its full life cycle. It is cost effective, and it produces electricity continuously, unlike solar energy and wind energy, which are very intermittent, and you never know if you can have it. With nuclear energy, it is on continuously, so it can supply us with the base energy we need to run our factories and our hospitals and our schools and our homes. Well, I would say that they should look at the United States, where the support for nuclear energy is strongest near the nuclear plants than it is in the rest of the country. People who live near nuclear plants learn that they are safe and clean and also create tremendous wealth in their community. Once I was asked by a big TV station in the United States, would you be willing to live near a nuclear plant? And I said, maybe a little too flippantly, actually, I'd be perfectly willing to live in a nuclear plant. It is one of the safest places to work in the world today. The people who work in nuclear plants are generally healthier than the general population. And the reason for that is they are so concerned with safety, they are so concerned with their personal health, that they actually live a better lifestyle and have less disease and live longer, in fact, than the general population. So I would say if you want to have a healthy life, go and work in a nuclear power plant. Well, of course, one of the obstacles to building new nuclear is the high cost of the capital. It's a very expensive machine to build, more expensive than building a gas plant or a coal-fired plant. But once the nuclear plant is built, then it becomes a very inexpensive source of energy. And the uranium is only a small part of the cost, so it's not susceptible to fluctuations in energy prices like we have seen with oil and natural gas. So the economics are an issue, but once the plant is built, then you have reasonable price energy for 60 or 80 years from that plant. The other problem is fear of radiation. This is an irrational fear which has no basis in reality. No one is being hurt by the nuclear plants or by the used nuclear fuel which is at those nuclear plants, what people call nuclear waste, which is actually full of energy for the future and should be carefully stored so we will use it someday. But the fear of radiation is a key problem. The sun is nuclear radiation. That's why we should not stay too long in the sun or we get burnt. That's radiation which is burning us. The same thing is true of radiation from any source. As long as we do not receive too much of it, it will not harm us. And people need to learn to stop being afraid of nuclear energy because they think it's going to harm them.